Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to test the performance of the Nvidia 940MX in the game Battlebit Remastered. And we're playing right now at 1080p with the high settings preset. And we are playing the big game mode with 256 players. And this is in a Lenovo Thinkpad T470p, which means that we are not only having a dedicated GPU, but also a quad-core CPU, namely the i7-7820HQ. So unlike most ultrabooks which you will usually find this card in, which at the time, which means 2017, still had dual cores. This is a fully blown quad-core CPU, so it should be more than capable to support this graphics card in the game, and should definitely not bottleneck us. But yeah, right off the start we are playing at 1080p and high settings, and so far it seems very playable. I mean, I probably won't kill anybody anyway, since I'm sitting behind the camera once again, but we're seeing, yeah, we're not hitting the 60 FPS all the time, or quite frankly we're below 60 FPS most of the time, is what I would think. But let's see if we actually do have VSync. No, we do not have VSync enabled, so we should see over 60 FPS at some point. But we actually don't do that. I really don't know why it is capped at 60 FPS right now. Because there is a max FPS at 60 for us, and we obviously do not want that. So yeah, so this is the real performance you should get, not the 60 FPS cap. But nevertheless, we were under 60 FPS most of the time anyways. But at least in some points of the game, as of right now, we actually do exceed the 60 FPS. So this is a very playable experience, and I mean, we are already at the high settings preset. Obviously there would be ultra settings too if you want to go and even higher than that at 1080p. So we still have a lot of headroom to play with. And why am I in enemy territory right now? What is going on? I have no idea. I guess this is a new game mode I haven't tried before, so yeah, that's probably it. Alright, so let's play a little bit more with the high settings preset, and then I would like to go and turn it down a notch to the medium settings in order to find out what FPS we can expect to get if you actually want to play this more competitively, and in that case turn down the settings a little bit, since this isn't really a very demanding game, and since the graphics do not really change all that much from the low settings to the ultra settings. I even think it would be a good idea for you to actually change that to the medium or low settings, since fidelity wise you won't lose all that much. But yeah, enough said. Let's try that actually and go to the medium settings preset and see how much more FPS, or if there's actually any FPS to be gained for us here. So yeah, let's see if we can, I guess we can just spawn here. And it seems to me, obviously we are not in the same area, so it could be that it's just an area which is lighter to run or easier to run for this hardware here, but I mean, medium settings seem to improve our FPS at least a little bit. I mean, before that we were looking around the 50s to the 60s, and now we're 70s to the 80s at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty promising. Even though if you zoom in, yeah, look at that. If you zoom in, you will actually still lose quite a lot of FPS. And if you turn back, we actually gain a lot of FPS. That's very interesting. Alright, but nevertheless, let's see if we can actually manage to do something in this game, since we are now in very playable FPS territory. And I mean, you can see all the shit that's going on. There's players around us all the time, there's bullets flying around our ears, and still we are dropping a little bit to the 50s right now, but that isn't really concerning to me, since it still feels super smooth even when it did that right there. So yeah, I guess at the moment I would deem this very playable. I mean, the only concerning thing I have is the fact that we're actually in the 90s with our GPU and the 90s with our CPU, which is just something this 14-inch laptop does, since, yeah, I guess back in that day it was there was a good reason why usually in 14-inch notebooks you did not have quad-core CPUs, but instead opted for dual cores instead. But yeah, I think that was a very playable experience here as well. So let's try it with the low settings, which is just not even the lowest, since you still have the potato settings underneath that, but I really don't think it is necessary for you to go down there. And I would rather not sacrifice more visual quality. And the low settings already turned down our resolution to the 90%, so it's not the full HD or the full HD experience here anymore, but instead just 90% of it, which still looks pretty or plenty sharp. And obviously if you are playing this on your laptop screen, I'm playing on a 32-inch external monitor right now, so obviously this isn't going to look as sharp for me as it will for you if you're playing this on a 14-inch or a 15-inch monitor. But yeah, right now I really like how this plays, and I'm pretty convinced that even if you had just an i7-7500U, which would be the dual core of the time, you would still have no problem playing this, since I deactivated the turbo boost in order for it not to run at 100 degrees. And we're still just at 30% usage, which means that even with your dual cores, so 2 cores less, you should still absolutely be fine and not really be bottlenecked by your CPU here. But yeah, so far so good. I deem this very, very playable. Obviously at the potato quality we probably would see even more FPS, and here with the low settings this is already a very playable experience, even if you want to play this competitively, seeing that we are exceeding 100 FPS a lot of the times right now. And we are definitely having one of the hardest to run game modes here, with so many players, and it's always lagging when you are tabbing out. So yeah, you can see we have such a huge number of players in this game, and I still can't manage to kill anybody. But yeah, I think that's enough for this video, because you should have by now gained a very good insight as to how well this game will run for you. And yeah, if you have the 940MX, have fun playing this game.